Only do it, only do it. Okay, I'm back, y'all, and divinely grateful risings. How are y'all doing this morning? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling good. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to Spirit You. Y'all know we over here serving a little spirit, glam, spirituality, faith, God, Jesus, love, compassion, all that good stuff. One message at a time. I hope y'all are doing well. I hope you're feeling good. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I hope y'all had a fantastic and an amazing weekend. It's been a good weekend, y'all. It's been a good weekend. How are y'all feeling this morning? How are y'all feeling this morning? Great morning, great morning, great morning, Beauty Nicole. Shout out to everybody on TikTok this morning. Y'all, hold on. Let me turn that off real quick. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm back. My bad, y'all. Great morning, great morning, great morning. Rich rising to you, dearest one. I'm glad you're feeling good. Happy Monday, happy Monday. Shout out to everybody on TikTok. Shout out to everybody on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you tuning in from. Good morning, Butterfly Angel Wings, tapping in on the IG side of the street. How was y'all's weekend? Y'all got y'all favorite adult beverage. I hope y'all are doing well, y'all. I thought I was going to be going live at 8 a.m., but I went ahead and decided to come on because I was ready. Good morning, Ms. Good morning. Happy Monday, dearest one. Bless. Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all come in, like the live, share the love. Drop something in the chat that you're grateful for. Let's get in the flow of abundance and get into the word. The word is the bird. We starting Genesis 5 today, y'all. We're starting Genesis 5 today. So we will, of course, be reading Genesis 5. We're only going to be here like 2 days, y'all, because it's really just giving us like some genealogy, which is importantness. But I know we're going to do it on Sundays. The Lord gave me a change of agenda for Sundays, but I'll tell y'all about that in uno momento. So we're going to be in Genesis 5 for the next couple of days. Good morning, the real Kiki. Good morning, dearest one. Thank you so much for sharing the live. So we'll actually get through from what I just saw, y'all. We'll get through Genesis 5 and Genesis 6 this morning. Spirit Nim, y'all tapping in this morning. Spirit Nim said, hey, y'all know we tapping in with spirit guides, ancestors, angels, and ascended masters of the highest and purest light vibration and energy. Okay, good morning, Johanna. Good morning. Thank you for sharing the live, dearest one. So we'll be in Genesis 5 and 6 this week. Genesis 5 for today and tomorrow, then 6 for the next 3 days, and then let's do it. Let's get to it. Y'all drop this in the chat. Y'all know we gonna do the word first, but drop this in the chat. I got next. Child, I feel like I need to type it. Let me type it somewhere. I got next. And put a whole bunch of decree and declare exclamationals behind it. I got next, okay? I got next. And I'm gonna tell y'all how the Lord took me to that and what he said this morning, of course, but we gonna do Genesis 5. But just know this, you got next, okay? You got next. And so I know don't do it yet, but I want to have told them. Let's do Genesis 5. Y'all got y'all favorite adult beverage. Y'all sip y'all favorite adult beverage. Y'all, I got to go back to the Aldi. I got to go to the Aldi again. They ain't have but a couple. I've been drinking the same flavor. I got to drink this one more day. And then I got to go to the Aldi and re-up on my supplies on my and is so pin that. I got next. Okay, I got next. And just know we coming back to that. But all to do it, let's get to it. Grab your Bible. Y'all know we are in, I'm using the Amplified Bible. We gonna read wait a minute. Listen to the book. Oh, I did that. I had a note to myself to read and listen to the book of Enoch before Genesis 6. Did. Okay, because if you don't, I could told them, I could told y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all again, but I'm go ahead and told y'all now. If you ain't then watch or listen to the book of Enoch, I can't tell you what to do, but it might be helpful if you read or listen to that before we get into Genesis 6 this week. If you have time, like put it in some headphones or something and just listen to it at the gym or something, just somewhere where you just, take a walk or something. Because it'll make Genesis 6 make a whole lot more sense. All to do it. So let's read Genesis 5. Now let me if you new to Spirit You, welcome. We are so happy and so grateful that you are here. But let me tell you something right now. Don't come over here with no religiosity, especially on this day when we finna have to read these names. Let me just tell y'all, if y'all don't know this already, some of y'all might know this, but many of you don't. The way these names be set up in the Bible, me and the Lord then already had this discussion. Don't so just just work with the energy, work with it, okay? Or let's do it. Let's get to it. Here we go. The descendants of Adam. This is the book, the written record, the history of the generations of the descendants of Adam. When God created man, he made him in the likeness of God, not physical, but a spiritual personality and moral likeness. He created them male and female and blessed them and named them mankind at the time they were created. When Adam had lived 130 years, he became the father of a son in his own likeness, according to his image, and named him Seth. After he became the father of Seth, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. So Adam lived 930 years in all, and he died. When Seth was 105 years old, he became the father of Enosh. Seth lived 807 years after the birth of Enosh, and he had other sons and daughters. So Seth lived 912 years, and he expired. When Enosh was 90 years old, he became the father of Kenan. Enosh lived 815 years after the birth of Kenan and had other sons and daughters. So Enosh lived 905 years, and he expired. When Kenan was 70 years old, he became the father of Mahalalel. Kenan lived 840 years after the birth of Mahalalel and had other sons and daughters. So Kenan lived 910 years, and he expired. When Mahalalel was 65 years old, he became the father of Jared. Mahalalel lived 830 years after the birth of Jared and had other sons and daughters. So Mahalalel lived 895 years, and he expired. When Jared was 162 years old, he became the father of Enoch. Jared lived 800 years after the birth of Enoch and had other sons and daughters. So Jared lived 962 years, and he expired. When Enoch was 65 years old, he became the father of Methuselah. Enoch walked in habitual fellowship with God 300 years after the birth of Methuselah and had other sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And in reverent fear and obedience, Enoch walked with God, and he was not found among men because God took him away to be home with him. When Methuselah was 187 years old, he became the father of Lamech. Methuselah lived 782 years after the birth of Lamech and had other sons and daughters. So Methuselah lived 969 years, and he died. When Lamech was 182 years old, he became the father of a son. He named him Noah, saying, "This one shall bring us rest and comfort from our work and from the dreadful toil of our hands because of the ground which the Lord cursed." Lamech lived 595 years after the birth of Noah and had other sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The end. Okay, the end. So y'all see why we're not going to be here but a minute. But it's important to read. It's a lot of important stuff, of course, that happened in Genesis 5. And we finna all do it. Let's get to it. Y'all got your favorite adult beverage. So the first age of the world was 1,656 years. Okay. And so Christ was the end of the Old Testament generations and genealogies, as well as being the end of the Old Testament as well, right? Because we know he begins the New Testament. He was the seed of the woman that was promised. So the book of the generations of Adam, only the holy seed are here mentioned. So there were plenty of them, right? Indeed, and amen. Good morning, Tehabi. Good morning. He is indeed a provider. We getting ready to talk about, look, the Lord provides. Come on, Jehovah Jireh, drop it in the chat. Thank you, Lord, for provision. Anybody believe in, I'm telling you, I got next. Anybody believe in the Lord for something supernatural? I'm telling y'all, there is some stuff that it feels like it's shaking in the spirituals. That's something the Lord been talking to me about. But we gonna come back to it. I'm back. So only the Holy Seed are here mentioned. So it's plenty of other people. It's plenty of other, as we see, it's plenty of sons and daughters. Good morning, Jamila. Good morning. Um, but we're only mentioning, the only ones that are mentioned are the ones that are important in regards to the Holy Seed, right? So just keep that in mind. Um, the holy seed, the elect remnant, is its stump, the oak, the substance of Israel. So these are the ones that are mentioned and made note of. God created man. Man is not his own maker, therefore is not his own master. The author of his being must be the director of his motions and center of them. Drop this in the chat. God's in charge. Can we remember that? Like oftentimes that's what end up happening. We be forgetting that God is actually in charge. And we be trying to be governors and rulers of our own self, not our own self. Like the little children say, I'm gonna do it my own self. Okay. God is in charge. And so if we can continue to remember that and allow him, good morning, high self-esteem girl. And if we can continue to remember that and let him be in charge, our life will be so much easier. There was a day in which God created man. He was not from eternity, but of yesterday. So remember, y'all, we were created. We were not from the very beginning like Jesus was. We were created, but we begin beside ourselves sometimes. God made in his own likeness, righteous and holy, and therefore undoubtedly happy. Man's nature resembled the divine nature more than that of any creatures of the lower world. So he made us in his image. So that we're the closest to God than anyone else. Good morning, Tori. Good morning, Pamela. Good morning, y'all. So God created male and female for their mutual comfort and the present preservation of increase of their kind. Because remember, we talked about be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. So we remember that this is why God put us here. He put us down here to be fruitful, multiply, created in his image, male and female. He created them in his likeness. He blessed them. He commanded a blessing for them, a blessing of increase. So this how you know. Can we just talk? Can we start uno momento pause? This is yet another reason that we should know that God wants us to have increase in our life. This is increase in families. This is increase in resources. This is increase in happiness and joy and communion with him, increase in all areas of our life. Because God commands these blessings for us, right? A blessing of increase chiefly, but not excluding other blessings. So he told them be fruitful and multiply, but that ain't the only way that he wants us to increase. He wants us to increase in knowledge and wisdom and understanding, in relationships as well. So both of them were named Adam, right? He called their name Adam, which signifies earth, right? Because of course he created them from the dust, from the earth. God named them Adam, being at first one by nature and afterwards by marriage. So they had the same name. It wasn't until later that Adam changed the woman's name to Eve, right? Adam begat Seth in his own image and likeness, because of course Seth being the replacement for Abel, right? Adam was made in the image of God, but when he was fallen, corrupt, he begat a son in his own image, which was also sinful and defiled, frail, mortal, and miserable, a man and a sinner. So now he had a replacement. He had many, of course, because we know this is how they populated the earth. But grace does not run in the blood, but corruption does. It's like you ever seen, and when the Lord was talking to me about this, how you can see families of folks that's just bad, like like generational stuff. And this we're gonna be talking about a lot of generational stuff today, even like generational things being passed down, being broken, and sometimes that even is like people doing the wrong things as well. So a sinner begets a sinner, but a saint does not beget a saint. So you could be a saint, but somebody else could be less than, right? Or not, I don't want to say less than because that sounds kind of bad, but you can be a saint and somebody else in your family could be a sinner, right? Everybody don't God the same, not God the same way. Everybody don't God the same way. Because everybody doesn't receive the Lord the same way, right? Everybody's not walking with him in the same way, to the same degree. I just heard Martha and Mary, where Martha was so, and that's in the Bible clarity deck, where Martha was so, even though she was a follower, you can have, even in those small differences, where she was more concerned with the action, whereas Mary was more concerned with sitting at the feet of Jesus and receiving the word and receiving his instruction. So everybody doesn't worship in the same way. The Lord don't use people in the same way. It's just a matter, and some people just don't receive him at all. So that can be in families. One person will be over here walking with God and the other person over here doing whatever they do. Um, it's almost like Cain and Abel, right? So just keep that in mind. Um, let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The account of the Holy Seed is enlarged upon those that lived in God's fear and died in his favor. The memory of the just is blessed. And so the ones that are mentioned are the ones who continue to walk with God even after, and there's many y'all. So again, just keep in mind that there are only certain people that they're pointing us to, but these are people, the ones that are mentioned are the ones that continue to walk with God even after the fall. They continue to serve, they continue to worship. We know this is the continuation of the church. There was something, and I don't know if we'll get to it today or not, but Adam, like at this time, of course, they weren't really writing things down. So a lot of the things, and I like when the Lord said this to me, I was like, man, you don't even think about it because their lives were so long, right? Because of that, they were actually like Adam was there to actually talk to many of these people. So the things that they know, the things that were passed down, were actually passed down from Adam. So it's crazy that he was giving them a firsthand description of what it was and then what happened. Long life to the pious patriarchs was a blessing and made them blessings. I can't imagine living for 800 years, but but I imagine, but at the same time, their bodies were different, right? Their bodies were different. The environment was different. They weren't dealing with what we deal with now and all the pollution and things. The earth was more fruitful. It was less decayed. It wasn't rotten by neglect. The productions of it were more strengthening. The air, the weather, all of it was healthier. So yeah, they actually did better in their environment, and with their longer lives. And plus, the influence of the heavenly bodies were more benign before the flood than afterwards. So this is like, even though they had sin and corruption in the world, and again, that's why you kind of gotta insert the book of Enoch in here, because it's like there's some stuff that's gonna come up in 6 that ain't gonna make sense. That thank you, dearest one, for the gifts. There's some things that aren't gonna make sense if you don't plug that part in. We know that there are plenty of things that have been stripped out of the Bible, y'all, but there's a lot of wisdom in those things that people will tell you not to read. And they'll be like, oh, they can't verify this, that, and the third. So take it back to the Lord. But one thing, certain two things show, you go read the book of Enoch and you gonna understand where these random like Nephilim and things are getting thrown in. So just keep that in mind. Though man was driven out of paradise, the earth was more of a paradise than our present wilderness. Because, child, if you look at the earth as the wilderness is, or Egypt, right? There's like we currently living in the wilderness. I know we talk about going through our own wilderness seasons, but like the earth is like literally a wilderness in itself. But at that time, it was more of a paradise than what we have now. Prolonged lives to replenish the earth. So because they lived so long, it's possible that there was the same amount of people, if not more, then as there are now. Prolonged lives to replenish the earth and for the more effectual preservation of the knowledge of God and religion, when there was no written word, but tradition was how it was passed down. So that's when the Lord was showing me, like, man, y'all, this is how they were actually sharing things. They were passing it down. And can you imagine sitting there with Adam and him actually telling you about what the garden was like? Like, man, you can't, like, I be reading stuff and I'd be like, I can't even imagine. I say this all the time to the Lord. I can't even imagine being able to sit at the feet of Jesus, right? While he's actually just teaching, like, and we finna talk about the chosen a little bit. I don't know if I can keep saying that, but but I understand why the Lord is bringing it up, because again, if y'all are not tapped into that, I'm gonna need you to get tapped in. But every time I watch it, I just be like, man, can you imagine sitting at the feet of Jesus, the feet of Adam, like any of them, hearing any of the prophets actually speak the words that they spoke, um, a blessing, right? But if you can still, you know what I'm saying, receive wisdom from them, especially as you're studying, if you understand spiritual things, right? Next, all the patriarchs here, except Noah, were born before Adam died. So this is where I was just like, man, that's so crazy, because you don't even think about that. But their lives were so long, y'all, that they were actually living together. So they were actually talking to each other. I imagine they were pretty spread out. So you don't know how much time they got to spend with each other. But all the patriarchs here, except for Noah, were born before Adam died. So they had access to him to actually hear these stories from him, so that from him they might receive a full and satisfactory account of creation and paradise, the fall, the promise, and those divine precepts which concern worship and a religious life. So they were receiving this firsthand, and who better to tell them than the person who was the first to receive it? Good morning, Sandy. Good morning. He was their oracle, while he lived, to recourse with them if any mistake. So basically, they could go back to him like we have now. They could go back to him and be like, is this right, or what about this? So he was their basically their pastor, if you will, their priest, the person, their resource that they could get wisdom from. After his death, to Methuselah, wait, to rectify it, and after his death, to Methuselah and others who had conversed with him, the Lord preserved in his church the knowledge of his will and the purity of his worship. The end. Okay, the end. That's where we're gonna stop, y'all, because we're not gonna do all of Genesis 5 because we're not gonna be here but a couple days. We'll finish it tomorrow. And the main thing was just kind of starting to see the genealogies, understanding that there were oral traditions and things that were being passed down. We know as time went on, a lot of these things were um changed, and then things were added that were not necessarily a part of what the traditions were. And so this is where we get with, like, if you go into the New Testament, this is where the Pharisees started adding all this, making all these unnecessary things and changes and all that kind of stuff, child, that they weren't even supposed to be doing for real. But all to do it, let's get to it. So here we go, y'all. Let me get my notes. Let me get my notebook. Hold on. Or my other two notebooks, child. How I'm working, because I'm is 3 notebooks. All I do is drop this in the chat. I got next. Here we go. This is why we're going to talk about this. Good morning, Sandy. Good morning. Sandy says, great morning, Touche and the community. Today, I'm grateful for growth and new opportunities from the Lord. Let's talk about these new opportunities before we even get ready to get into the cars this morning. So, as I was watching The Chosen this weekend, y'all, once again, so I don't know if I explained this to y'all, but let me just say this. If y'all tapped in, come on, fruitful. Come on, fruitful. We receive fruitful. Psalm 23:1. The Lord is my shepherd. Drop that in the chat. I lack nothing. We're going to keep it, even though I hadn't really shuffled the cards. But let me just explain this. This is how you know that the Lord be aligning stuff. So let me just tell y'all. So many of us, right, thank you so much for tapping in while you working and listening, dearest one. So many of us, anybody in a waiting season, anybody waiting for the Lord to do something in your life, like you're waiting on him, like you've been praying, you petitioning, you waiting on the Lord to do something in your life. Good morning, Vicky. Good morning. And so I kind of was been talking to the Lord about that this weekend. And so um he said, yeah, but you got next. And how he confirmed this was through me watching the episode that I watched yesterday. And I kid you not, every time I watch this particular episode, it hits me in my spirituals, right? Mm. Pam says, starting to feel like Job. So listen, y'all. So as I'm watching this part yesterday, in this particular part, spoiler alert, okay, spoiler alert. I don't remember what episode it is, but on this particular episode, the Lord, come on, God, the Lord is getting ready to send some of them out, like the 12 apostles, because at this point they're apostles. So he's getting ready to send them out 2 by 2. And so he tells them, don't take nothing with them. He tells them, don't even take a change of clothes. I'm sending you out to go start healing and helping and preaching the word. I'm sending you out on your first mission, on your first assignment. Cool. So one of the apostles, which they call him Lil James in the show, one of the apostles he has like an ailment, right? He has like a form of paralysis. And so he kind of walks with a staff. And so there's this one part. And at this point, Jesus is doing all the miracles. He is performing, he's healing, he's doing all these things. But here's one of his apostles that needs healing, but yet Jesus has not healed him. So he goes to Jesus, and Lord, I'm gonna try not to start crying, because I cry every time because I can feel it in my spirituals. And so Lil James starts telling Jesus, basically he starts talking to him about his inadequacies, and because of his ailment and his limp, he walks kind of slow. So he starts comparing himself to the other 11 apostles, because they don't really have any of that going on. Now they all got their faults, right? But he's the only one who has like a physical deficiency. And so, come on, Lord. And so he has a moment where he's telling Jesus, he's like, you sending me out to do this, but basically I need healing myself. And he basically asked Jesus, like, why not, you're sending us out to heal, but why haven't you healed me? And now I'm watching this yesterday, y'all. I had a whole full blown moment and I started crying. And what Jesus said in that moment, he said, what y'all, again, the Lord will speak to you, and you can think that you watching a TV show. You can think that you simply reading the Bible, but all of a sudden it'll be a switch and you will know that the Lord is actually saying this to you and speaking this to you. So he told him yesterday, he was just like, this is for whoever's still in a waiting season, but you keep showing up. You keep persevering. You keep walking in purpose. Even though there are things that you need that the Lord has not yet blessed you with. You keep on doing what he's asking you to do. And in that moment, the Lord said, just because I haven't healed you yet, that, Lord, I'm finna cry, doesn't mean that the healing is not coming. And I felt that to the bottom of my spirituals. So, message. I don't know who else needs to receive this, but I do feel that one of the tactics that the enemy is trying to do in this season is trying to make you doubt that just because you haven't been healed in a certain area yet, that it ain't coming. And the other part of this is the Lord, if for those of you who have not already been feeling this is something that you may end up experiencing this week. Again, y'all, many of us are at a point of transition where the Lord is calling us into something new. He's requiring more of us as we're stepping into purpose. And he needs you to understand. And I'm going to read y'all what he said this morning in talking about this. Just because it hasn't happened yet, a delay is not a denial. And it's like him giving this acknowledgement. Absolutely, Tori. A delay is not a denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet, don't mean it's not going to happen. And for many of us, sometimes it's a struggle because people don't even realize how hard it is to come into being to continue to show up and do the work that God has asked you to do when there are things that you still need, right? Continuing to show up and serve, continuing to go to your job, knowing there's things that you're waiting for that you need from the Lord, but haven't quite shown up yet, right? So this is what he said. God sees you. You have been helping others, doing your work, even in times when you needed strength, praying for others, even when you needed prayer yourself, giving when you needed. Do not think these things go unnoticed by God. And then I started talking about little James needed healing, felt himself a burden to the others because of his ailment, and questioned why Jesus hadn't healed him yet. It is so much harder to do good works when you need things for yourself. But don't stop doing good works. Because the things that you think that God is not paying attention to, your willingness to continue to get up and serve in even your most difficult circumstances, your willingness to put on a happy face even when you don't always feel that on the inside. There are things that you're dealing with that don't nobody know about but you and God, that you're praying for in the secret place, right? But what he's like, continue to remind me is just because it's not now doesn't mean that it's not never. So we have to make sure that we're continuing to just think like, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. And that's what he started talking to me about. Part kind of what he talked about yesterday on Spirit U, but but it was more so just like there's so many of us that are in a waiting season. Um, and sometimes you can get a little discouraged in the waiting season. And so he wants you to not be discouraged in the don't be weary in the well doing. And that was where he went with this. And so him letting you know that he sees you and your healing is actually coming as well. Keep showing up to the best of your ability. Continue to go to him for strength. Um, because it's not easy. And sometimes people don't recognize just how much we have to fight in order to keep doing the work that God has given us to do. And this is like fighting against ourselves, right? Not necessarily fighting other people, but just having to continue to just wake up and one day at a time take another step. So just know that even if you don't see the everything that you want now, that it is coming. And sometimes, and it's one of those lessons where we have to learn how to be patient, and that everything happens in divine timing, and that when we're ready for it, then he will add unto us. When we're ready to receive what we're praying for, then he'll give into us. And also, don't stop praying for the things that you're believing God for. Because sometimes I can understand it now, because it's like, man, Lord, I feel like I've been praying for this and waiting on this for a long time. But don't stop believing in it just because you hadn't seen it happen yet. Because soon as you stop believing in it and stop having faith in God for it, that's, first of all, that's what the enemy wants us to do. Second of all, you might be half a second away from your blessing, and then all of a sudden you done gave up on it. So don't stop believing that God is going to do what God said he's going to do. So I hope that helps somebody. Um, and he sent me to Isaiah 52:6, because the number 52, the number 526 been showing up a lot. Let me just mention this briefly as well, because this is something he told me over the weekend, and we've been to get into the cars and see what else the Lord wants to talk about. If there's somebody that you need to be reconciled to, somebody you need to get it off your chest with, like if you got some kind of beef or something, go get that squared away. Because for many of you, that's going to be the next thing that, or the thing that is keeping you from that next level of greatness. Does that make sense? Or receiving that next blessing. If there's some kind of debt that you know that you need to pay, then you need to pay it. Okay. Because from again, this is one of those things where the Lord, like, listen, are you holding on to this? And this is something that he's told you that you have to do. This is not saying like go get all your credit cleaned up, even though we want to work towards that. This is something that you know you should have done, and maybe you didn't do because you just like, well, I got to do such and such and such and such. The Lord is giving some of you a test of commitment of it's trust. It's like, if the Lord has told you that he's going to make a way, and he tells you to go give or pay something or do something, and you like, well, Lord, if I do that, that's going to take away from me being able to do this. For some of you, there's going to be like a test like that the Lord is going to be like, do you trust me? Okay. And so it may feel like even that you're putting yourself backwards, but it's really you trusting the Lord. If he promised that he's going to do something, then he's going to do it. So this is him saying, do you trust me to do it? Okay. I hope that makes sense. Jamila says, I related to the young lady who bled for 12 years. I've had problems for years with it as well. But the last 2 months, 4 weeks of it, with 4 days off and back for 4 weeks again. I pray for healing in my body. Absolutely. As well you should. Okay. As well you should. So sending you so much love, light, and healing energy. All to do it. Let's get to it. Y'all sip y'all favorite adult beverage. We gonna be patient in the waiting, y'all. We gonna continue to be patient, because we can't stop believing in the promise just because it doesn't show up when we want to receive it, right? Good morning, Shawnee. Good morning, Shell. Good morning, y'all. And one thing certain, two things show, the Lord will provide. Okay, the Lord will provide. This, of course, is fruit. Psalm 23:1. This is provision. All needs met. You get what you pray for, and manna. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. So y'all know we in a season where we are intentional about going out and producing fruit for the kingdom. Can I also just tell y'all that for many of you, what's also happening is that the Lord is getting ready to start. It's like maybe you have felt like you wasn't being fruitful for the kingdom, but he's getting ready to show you that you're getting ready to produce more fruit, or you're already producing fruit, and you may not even be recognizing what he's doing in this season. And it may just be little small things, right? Little small things in what you're doing, that he's going to show you that he's rewarding you in some small way. And so just know, it's like them little blessings add up to big blessings, y'all. So come on, multiplication, we receive it. Was that somebody's message today? Did the multiplication card come out for Sagittarius? Who did I post today? Child, I don't know who I posted today. Anyway, they're getting ready to start seeing things multiply. And it's simply because you refuse to give up. You refuse to stop believing in what the Lord has promised you. And the more you believe in him to do what he said, the more you just continue to, even if you don't see it in the time that you want. Hold on, y'all. Let me fix y'all a little bit because I gotta turn my air conditioner on. The more, come on, 14:10. This is the prayer of Jabez, right? The more you continue to believe and just continue to know that you moving forward in purpose, the more you can. And also, let me just say this: for some of y'all, it's gonna be a little bit more work that's required of you. I asked the Lord that this morning. In order to have the growth, the expansion that you want to have, the Lord is going to require more of you. So think it not strange when the Lord tells you to do something. So he said that to me this morning, where, because I was like, Lord, is there anything else I can do in order to do more for the kingdom, to do more for you? Now, this don't mean go out and try to do it on your own. This means allow the Lord to show you if there's something else that he wants you to do. So for me this morning, so as an example of this, let me just tell y'all, if y'all not following me on YouTube, please make sure that you go subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It really, really, really helps to get the messages out there. So just this morning, I was like, Lord, is there anything else you would have me to do in order for me to, be fruitful for the kingdom? So what he showed me was, he, over the last maybe week or so, he's had me to start doing something that I had not been doing. So I go live, right? I do these messages, cool. But what I hadn't been doing is like, editing videos. I've always been like, oh, I don't edit, which I don't. Like, what you see is what you get. But what he showed me was, he was like, even though you don't edit, it's not like you can't go and create other videos out of the messages you've already given. It's not like I don't have to go create new content. I don't, he was like, you got 2 hours, like 10 hours of content, 12-ish, maybe 13 of content every week. So why would you not be able to just go and make more content out of what you already had, repurposing, right? And so this morning, he was like, he had already given me the task of, for every message, every live that I do, I have to go and make 3 videos out of it. This little 3 little short videos. And so it could be something as simple as that, y'all, where we be thinking that it got to be this long drawn out thing, but maybe there's just a different, like something that you can, from something you already have, you can take and make use of that. Does that make sense? So we be thinking, so this is still how you plant seeds. So instead of lives, I have videos as well. So I hope that resonates for somebody, that makes sense, where we be thinking that we got to go and do some long drawn out thing. And the Lord ain't asking for that. He can say, there's something that you can do with what you already have, the gifts and talents that you already have. And even in that, that can bring increase. That can bring, so increase feels like it's going to be a big topic today, right? So use what you already have, and don't think that you got to go try to start a million new things. He wants us to come on, spirit, to get very good at the gifts that we're already good at. Does that make sense? And so, like, for me, as y'all know, me like really talking about the Bible, that's something that is growing for me. But these cards, oh, this a gift. Like, this my gift, and this is how the Lord uses me. And so he was like, well, okay, well, go put some more of that out into the world. Does that make sense? I hope that tracks for somebody. And of course, this is the prayer of Jabez. Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory. If you want the Lord to enlarge your territory, then go out there and conquer a little. Drop that in the chat. I am more than a conqueror. Go out there and conquer more for the Lord with the gifts and talents that he's already given you. Come on, 828. Like, you don't have to go and try to reinvent the wheel. The Lord will allow you to use the same gifts that you already have, the same talents, and he will just help you to improve upon them, right? And of course, and look, 111 is up under that. Then 111s came up twice. Some of you, because your faith has multiplied, your resources are getting ready to multiply as well. We've talked about this before, right? Where, good morning, Cuban doll, where you don't think that you can have bigger faith until you start believing in God for bigger things. Does that make sense? And some of you are getting ready to start believing in God for bigger things. And it's not that you're being materialistic. It's not that you're asking for little petty stuff, but instead of thinking like, Lord, instead of as an example of this, if you on social media, don't ask the Lord to bless all of your platform or one of them. Oh, give me this many followers or subscribers, or allow the message to go this far on this place. No, ask Him to bless you in every area of your life. This is your relationships, your finances, your wisdom, your relationship with Him, the Holy Spirit. Like, yo, I want a double portion of the Spirit, Lord. I don't want just a piece. I want more. So ask Him to bless you in every area of your life. This is when we start believing God for bigger things. So we're able, then we start having the capacity to hold bigger things. Does that make sense? But if you only asking for a little, and it's somewhere in my notes, I don't know where it's at, but it's like, if you're only praying for a little, then guess what? Little prayers, little blessings. Big prayer, big blessings. So the more you pray, the more you understand that you can receive bigger things from the Lord, because He's limitless. So for many of us, what He's stepping us into is understanding that the more you pray, the bigger your prayer, the bigger your faith, the more the bigger the blessings, right? This is Romans 8:28, of course. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, those who have been called according to His purpose. So many of you, like, now that you're already going in the right direction, you're already on the road to success. The Lord just needs you to stay on that road, right? And then we'll, of course, keep faith. Faith is the substance. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, right? So many of you, there's been a detour, there's been a course correction, or either it's in the process of happening right now. Now that it's like, now that you're walking the Lord's path and doing what the Lord would require of you to do. Hold on, let me get the Bible clarity deck. Now you can, it's like, and look at the growth, y'all. I just looked down and saw this, and this is, of course, faith, imagination, hope, and believing is seen. It's like, do we see the difference between, this is the planting and this is the reaping? And I think I put a video out this morning that's just, I don't even remember what all it was, but some of you are getting ready. It's like your reaping season. You're getting ready to start seeing the fruit, because you haven't been out here just toiling for nothing. You haven't just been out here serving for nothing. You haven't just been out here being obedient for nothing. And this is not to get all prideful and be like, OMG, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, like I got, no, this is because you know that you want to be a bigger producer in the kingdom. So whatever seeds you've been planting, and y'all know we big on planting kingdom seeds, whatever you've been petitioning for, whatever you've been believing for, whatever you got faith in God for, you're getting ready to start seeing that harvest. For many people, it's harvest time. I feel like I heard that somewhere. Where did I hear that, y'all? Did y'all say it to me? Or did somebody, or did I see it somewhere? Child, I don't remember. I feel like it's harvest time for many of you, and people are getting ready to start seeing your hard work pay off. One more thing, one more other thing. For some of you, and this ain't everybody, but you'll know if this is your message. So yesterday, um, no, because that video's coming out. Which part? There are people. No, I don't want to say that either. Okay. Do not, some of you are going to be moving from your hometown, or the Lord is literally having you to cast your net, even do business in places that are not your hometown. So He told me this, but then He confirmed it in what I watched yesterday. So we know that a prophet, right? Or, you know, how Jesus was not accepted in His own hometown, right? And so many of you, the people that are surrounding you are not necessarily the ones who are, number one, going to support you, but also for many of you, you have to understand that there are people who look, Cuban says, I'm planning to move from St. Louis to North Carolina. So North Carolina, child, I'll be there with hope. Anyway, shout out to North Carolina, right? Let me just say this. Understand, for some of you, the reason why the Lord may be removing you from certain places is because there are people, come on, milk and honey, there are people who cannot see you as the new and elevated version of you. It's like Jesus, right? They just, oh, he's just a carpenter. He's just Joseph's son. So there are people who cannot see you as who God is now creating you to be. And so they can't reconcile the old you with the new you, because they knew the old you, and they don't, it's hard for them to see you as this new and improved person. So for some of you, there may be, like, you know, the Lord may be showing you that you're not going to be recognized in your own hometown. And he even confirmed that in me watching what I was watching last night as well. Thank you, Lord, I received it. He even confirmed it, right? He confirmed it yesterday. So for many of you, the Lord will be requiring you to move from an old place to a new place. Um, and for some of you, this could be simply moving in a job. This doesn't have to necessarily be a relocation. If it's a relocation, then the Lord has told you that. Then so you'll know that. But just know that some of you, there's some people who are not going to recognize you as who you are now compared because they've known you too long. They know too much about you, or they know who you used to be, so they can't acknowledge or recognize who the Lord has created you to be in this season. Okay, here we go. Ola do it. We have the Nine of Wands that's coming in. Come on, Nehemiah rebuilding the wall. Then I say, when we just talking about this, like being faithful, this is perseverance and determination. Nehemiah, a Jewish official serving the Persian king, learns that the walls of Jerusalem are in ruins after the Babylonian exile and is deeply moved by this news. He prays and then approaches the king, requesting permission to return and rebuild the city walls. Despite facing opposition from neighboring peoples, Nehemiah inspires the people of Judah to work together, organizing them into teams and successfully rebuilding the wall in a remarkably short time, symbolizing the restoration of Jerusalem's protection and the community's unity with God. So for many of you, this is a rebuilding season. Drop that in the chat. Like, I'm gonna build it. Sometimes it'd be hard to keep building, but you got to stay committed to the building. You can't have enlargement without continuing to build. So you have to stay committed to the building. You have to stay committed. Whatever the Lord, whatever bricks, come on, all not them kind of bricks, whatever bricks the Lord is giving you to build, you have to stay committed to the building. And it's not, no one said it was going to be like going to be easy, but this is about the perseverance that's necessary to just keep building. And let me just tell somebody right now, it ain't gonna make sense to everybody what you building. It's not going to make sense to everybody what you're building, but that doesn't mean you need to stop building it. As long as it makes sense to you, it's like, no, come on, spirit. It's like Noah in the ark, right? Y'all, why this little bird just landed on my mirror? Hey, little bird, what you was doing? Child, little bird just landed. Come on, the little bird. Y'all better pay attention to y'all spirit animals. Okay, I'm back. Look, because he just landed on my mirror. Okay, I'm back. So as long it's like Noah in the ark, right? Didn't know, but they thought he was cray cray for building an ark. They had never even had rain before. And we getting ready to talk about Noah, of course, in Genesis 6. So this the thing. If you got to build, and somebody, I saw the comment, but y'all know I be moving past stuff and I ignore some stuff, and that's not on purpose or not to answer the question. But let me just tell you, if the Lord tell you to build something that don't make sense to anybody else, it's gonna be people who tell you that you're crazy or what. God ain't doing that. First of all, who are we to tell God what he can do? And so God, if God tells you to do a thing, he means for you to do that thing. So build whatever the Lord is telling you to build. However, he's telling you to build it, and make sure that you're using that. So let me tell y'all how the Lord put a little check me in my spirituals, right? So on Sundays, which I don't be over here, right? I don't normally be on, like, because I be on my phone. So if y'all ain't tapped in for Spirit You, make sure y'all tap in with me on the weekends, right? 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So let me tell y'all how the Lord checked me yesterday. So this is y'all, this is this is like my normal thing. Y'all know this how we show up every morning, right? So the Lord asked me yesterday, he said, so why do you do you, right? That checked me. Well, daddy, because y'all did. And I don't feel like y'all even much had to say it like that. Y'all could, well, I mean, I understand, but daddy had already told me, so why was y'all was just reiterating on, y'all had to tell me too. I mean, I'm grateful and stuff, but daddy had, well, I felt like y'all was laughing. That's how I feel in my spiritual uno momento. I feel like y'all was laughing at me. That's how I felt. Because daddy had told me. And so let me just tell y'all the story, right? So the Lord say, why you don't do you on Sundays? And I say, huh? And he say, why you don't do you on Sundays? And I said, well, I do, Lord. I thought I was, but see, if he asking me, he giving me an opportunity, right? He gives us an opportunity to answer it ourselves. So he said, why you don't do you on Sundays? And by doing me, that's like I don't typically use cards on Sundays. Um, and we still do the same thing. Like we're in the New Testament, but we don't do notes. And this is even him putting a little more check me in my spirituals right now. This is about somebody authenticity. Like Sundays come and I don't really be, talking, chatting it up as much with Spirit and them, although I'm talking to them all the time. So the Lord told me yesterday, he said, when you go, he said, he's because the thing about it is, be you all the time. Drop that in the chat. Like, I'm going to be me. Be you all the time. Because yesterday, I just kind of had a moment where I was just like, Daddy, I was like, it just be feeling like something is missing on Sundays. He said, because you're not being authentic on Sundays. And you got to accept it when the Lord tell you something. And I was like, well, he was like, because let me tell you, let me just explain this. So I hope this makes sense for somebody. If the Lord put this, check me in your spirituals. He said, once again, he's like, it's not a requirement for people to understand everything you're doing as long as you're doing what I'm telling you to do. So basically, because I wasn't using all of my gifts, my talents, my skills, and my abilities, is why on Sundays it felt like something was missing. It feels like something's missing. So he told me on yesterday, he said, do you every day of the week. Be you, irregardless of how anybody's going to feel about it. And so I hope that this is encouragement for whoever needs this, that if the Lord is coming in and checking you and saying, like, listen, the reason you feel some type of way is because you're not being who you are, regardless of who's around. You don't have to try to water yourself down in order for people. Like, you got to be look straight, no chaser. So drop some 100s in the chat. Like, listen, y'all, the Lord is in a season where if he's telling you to use your gifts are what are going to make room for you. We're praying for increase, right? Clearly. We're praying for increase. We're praying for success. We're praying for these things from the Lord. That the Lord says, stop showing up half-heartedly for me. Does that make sense? Don't keep showing up half-heartedly for me. Give me all of you or don't give me none. He's not accepting us with this half-stepping anymore, y'all. If you know that the Lord has told you to do something, if you know that that is your gift. So he told me this. So come Sundays on extra credit, it's gonna have to be, it's all or nothing, y'all. Drop it in the chat. It's all or nothing. And you don't have to try to, it's like and the reason he sent me a message about this through somebody where he was just like, you don't have to try to prove yourself or your gift to anybody. I don't know who else needs this besides me, right? You don't have to prove yourself or your gifts to anybody. And that be the thing where you trying to prove to people. In this particular girl, she ended up saying something like, people, and the Lord even told me this morning, y'all. I cannot make this up, where let's say, and this ain't and this is sometimes why we have problems in spiritual communities. And I kind of I've been speaking on this. I spoke over on it yesterday for sure, right? Good morning, Ramada. Good morning. The Lord allows me to use these cards simply to focus, simply because it's fun. We love to receive confirmations like, man, Lord, you showed up. And so for some of you, I don't know if there's some kind of, because yesterday the Lord had me talking about competition and I didn't completely understand it, right? But it's like our spiritual gifts are not a competition, y'all. Church, serving the Lord is not a competition. Use your gifts the way that the Lord has given them to you. It's not like, a lot of times that's why people don't do well in spiritual communities, because it's like this competition where you trying to outgive somebody. You can't do that. The Lord is only going to give you your gift in its portion. So for some of you, I don't know if somebody trying to test your ability to see, and some of you, maybe this is something as you're awakening, because I know I went through this a couple years ago, but not so much now. This is about becoming confident in your gifts as well. And so it's like, for some of you, there may be people that are testing your ability to see, but you may not have the same gift that somebody else has. That may not be the way the Lord talks to you, but it doesn't mean that he's not talking to you. Does that make sense? So don't fall for the okey doke. And because there are people, and I'm just telling you that there are people who are going to try to make you question your connection to God simply because they don't understand your gift. Does that make sense? And so I didn't understand completely until the Lord put this check me in my spirituals yesterday, because he took me a roundabout way where he showed me like there's this competition thing that's happening in a whole nother environment, right? But he led me to understanding that the reason sometimes that we won't just show up and be who we are is because somebody else gonna feel some type of way about it, and not in this season. Okay. Deal with the bricks that the Lord is giving you, and in this case he talking about your gifts. Okay, so I hope that made sense to somebody. What else? Because he checked me about it, y'all, like for real. And so because I didn't feel as good about the message yesterday as I feel like when I come up here and do this, it's just like I'm in my zone. I'm in my own zone, right? It's like the energy was different. And that's what I told the Lord yesterday. I was like, Daddy, the energy's so different on Sundays than it is on Monday through Friday. And he was like, well, that's because you ain't showing up in your true authenticity. So I hope that made sense to somebody. Look, we're not talking about Mary and Martha. Did I mention them? Did I mention them, y'all? Where I was talking about how you'll show up like some people. Oh, I did mention them. Well, come on, Spirit, we receive it. I think I mentioned Mary and Martha, to where like one of them was, Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus and Martha worried about the details. This is also about distractions. Come on, Spirit. Many y'all, I want us to be very, very mindful of distractions in this season. Okay. I'm gonna keep saying it because the Lord said it bears repeating, right? So for many of us, the enemy's tactics don't change. We understand that, right? But as you're at a new level, the enemy is going to have new tactics that you haven't seen yet. So and this is simply a test of you just keeping your eyes focused on God. Okay. Keep your eyes focused on the Lord. Mary and Martha, who I mentioned, and now the card then came up, right? This is the Two of Pentacles. This is balance and priorities. Drop this in the chat. The Lord is my priority. The Lord is my priority message. Okay. Mary and Martha are sisters, close friends of Jesus who lived in Bethany and are most known for a story where Martha is busy preparing a meal while Mary sits at Jesus' feet listening to his teachings. Some of you are getting ready to be in a season where the Lord is not requiring you to do a whole lot. It's one of them be still and know that I am God seasons. It's one of those be still and allow me to bring it to you. Allow me to receive what it is that I'm bringing. We be thinking that we got to be busy, busy, busy. And what I have found, and maybe this will resonate with somebody, sometimes when you're so busy, you actually miss the Lord. Does that make sense? So for some of you, the Lord is calling you into stillness. He's calling you into connection. He's calling you to just sit with him and talk to him and allow him to bring in what is the next thing. If you are that person who's been thinking about going out and trying to figure out the next thing, figure out the way, make it, the Lord is like, you getting out of alignment. Okay, that you getting out of alignment with that. This is about you understanding that the Lord is trying to bring into you what he wants to be the next step. And many times we start trying to go be self-sufficient, or you just trying to do too much. For some of you, the Lord is asking you to focus in on what he wants you to perfect in this season and get that down and have mastery of it before he adds the next thing. Does that make sense? Um, when Martha complains to Jesus about Mary not helping, Jesus affirms that Mary has chosen the better part by prioritizing time with him, highlighting the different ways people can serve and engage with God. So some people, it's not in your nature to be still. This is what you got to go and talk to the Lord and figure out your own methods and ways of communicating with him. Does that make sense? Everybody don't serve the same. I hope that makes sense. Everybody don't serve the same, with Martha representing active service and Mary representing focused devotion to listening and learning. The story is often interpreted as a lesson on prioritizing spiritual nourishment over worldly tasks. However, The Lord don't fault us for being busy just as well. Does that make sense? So you're gonna have times when you're sitting and focused in and just eyes on Jesus, and you're also gonna have times where the Lord is gonna call you like, okay, now I need you to move. I need you to do a little bit more. This is about us learning to balance that. Does that make sense? Even in your work, like we have to make sure that we're balancing our priorities, our spiritual things with our practical things as well. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see what else. And for some of you, this is just it's just how we learn, right? It's how we learn. So I hope that makes sense. I do be on that protector energy. So I missed part of that. So I have to go back and see what it was. What else, Lord? So for many of you, and this is also like learning to balance relationships as well. You got to make sure that because like you may be an extrovert or an introvert, and you may just be used to spending a lot of time by yourself or just with Jesus. But this is about the Lord is going to be also teaching you how to balance your relationships as well. So just know that, and that's something that we have to work on. Okay, so just make sure that you're making time for those things that are important. Like make time. Okay, here we go. What else? Or let's do it. We have we have some of y'all finna be that not love and marriage. Y'all, we ain't never got the two of cups in the Bible clarity deck, but let's do it. Ruth and Boaz. Okay, Ruth and Boaz, love and partnership. Ruth and Boaz were married in the Bible as part of God's plan to redeem them and their family line. Ruth, a Moabite widow, gleaned in Boaz's fields. Boaz was a relative of Ruth's deceased husband, making him a kinsman redeemer who could marry her. God's plan was to show that he cares for the poor and wants to restore people to him. Their story also shows that God works through unlikely people and in ways that are not always understood. Ooh. His love and providence can work through people to bring about redemption. So for some of you, you may have your Ruth is coming, your Boaz is coming, take how it resonates in your spirituals. Good morning, Cherie. Good morning. So some of you, the Two of Cups is all about love and unity. So some of you could possibly, and I'm just say this, if you're praying for it, many of you, the Lord has you in a preparation season. He has you in a preparation season. If you because I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Because I got to say it like that. Some of y'all, we talked about this before. The Lord and told you to sit down on them credentials and stop giving your credentials to everybody. So he will take you through a celibate season. But the way that he has shown me, this is like an Esther season, y'all. So many of you, what's happening right now, let's say you're single and celibate, right? Um, He's preparing you for your person. But one thing, even me, y'all, I tell the Lord that, Lord, make me ready for the person that I'm going to receive. Now, for some of y'all, because which part? Is that like a temptation, child? Let me tell somebody about this. Let me tell y'all right now. I don't know. Well, maybe it is just for me, but I'm gonna tell it. For some of you, be very mindful. Because I do believe, and this is y'all can tell me how you feel about this. I do believe that one of the things the enemy has anybody been like, look, come on, Lord. Well, Daddy, you had said it and meant it, so we gonna take it. So listen, I wasn't even taking anything else. This is the Lord preparing you for marriage. Now, for some of you, let me just reiterate this. This is not necessarily somebody from your past. But I feel I can yeah, because I want to. It's not to say that some of you will not be reconciled with somebody from your past, but let me just say this: for some of you, it's almost like the enemy trying to make you keep somebody on your mind. Y'all know last week we talked about like cord cutting, but this is like the Lord has said, no, that's not the person. So if there's a person from your past who has just been on your mind and you just like, what I was finna cuss the word. Y'all heard it, didn't it? But it's like the enemy, it's almost like a tactic, y'all. Because I had to pray on this and ask the Lord, like, what is happening? Why? Because this is not even somebody like you don't even have feelings for this person, but they just keep on popping up. It's almost like the enemy is trying to, in different ways, y'all. And the Lord confirmed this for me yesterday, like trying to make you, how do I say that? It's almost like trying to make you keep your mind on stuff. But this is like, these are distractions, y'all. And I'm telling you that the Lord is making you aware. People popping up that you ain't even thought about, but maybe you had some type of attachment with, or, like this has even been happening for me where there'll be pictures that have showed up from 1983. Like, first of all, why would I see this now? So it's like the enemy trying to make you focus on old chapters of your life, old seasons of your life. Um, Things that the Lord has delivered you from. And it's almost like, how if you aren't completely healed from something, it'll trigger you, see something, and it'll trigger you back into trauma. Does that make sense? Because I was like, why is this like because it started to like disturb my spirituals a little bit, to where I was like, man, I remember when such and such and such happened with such and such person. And I was like, why is this even coming up, Lord? And I found that it kept on taking me back to these things of the past that the Lord had been delivering me from. And I like he had already delivered me from, but what I found was like getting in my feelings about stuff that I know I don't feel no type of way about. Does that make sense? And so remember, y'all, um, look, Mocha says, Rich Rising, how are you? Hey, dearest one, I just had a dream about old patterns. Okay, well, thank God for God, it's not just me, y'all. Cause I was like, hold on, Lord. He like, and that you have been healed from a certain thing or person. So again, y'all, and maybe this is something that the enemy hadn't used in a minute. Because at one point, maybe those kind of things used to trigger you back into trauma or feelings or stuff like that, and started making you just remember who you used to be and what you used to do. Like, just be mindful, y'all. Just be mindful of that. And we gonna keep the Lord because he's out here always. So just be mindful, y'all, that the enemy think he's slick, and all of a sudden you feel some type of way, and you like, wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, Kiki trying to see if this still works. Like, no, it don't work. And so I had to ask the Lord about it, because I had got mad, like for real, y'all. I got mad at my spirituals because I was like, anyway, so just be mindful of that, y'all. Like the enemy, just the way the things that he's doing is crazy. And the Lord was just like, just pay attention, just keep your eyes focused, just stay focused on me. Um, and whatever the Lord has instructed you to do, child. And just because we ain't got time in this season, drop it in the chat. We ain't got time. We ain't got time to get distracted. We ain't got time to get distracted. And there go my papa and my grandma. Like I was like, y'all, I had to call in my angels, like, hold on, Lord. Anyway, so I hope that made sense for somebody. So just be mindful, y'all. It's distractions, and we're not going to be distracted in this season. Lord, help us, Lord, because we got work to do. And I said that in a message the other day. We ain't got time. We ain't got time, because many of us have been stuck in old patterns and old cycles and going through the same things over and over. And we just, drop that in the chat, child. The Lord is my portion. Okay, the Lord is my portion, and we're not gonna get distracted this time, because for many of us, we just got on the right track, on the right path, right? We just got in alignment with the Lord's will and purpose for our life. So I can't afford to be distracted in this season. And let me tell y'all, baby, that little honey one was fine. He was. And there's something else. The Lord will the enemy will start putting things in front your eyes to try to make you lust after some stuff. And all of a sudden, because what you ain't gonna get me with the Jezebel spirituals. Ain't. Many of us have been delivered from the Jezebel spirit, child. Like I'm telling y'all, you have to be mindful, y'all. Like it is so crazy how the enemy will try to come in at the last minute, or soon as you know you in alignment with some stuff, y'all. Like the enemy will come in and just start putting temptations in front of your face. Child, please. We ain't got time. What else, Lord? We over here now look, I'm finna show y'all how this fell on the cards. This is exactly how this fell. Look, y'all. Can we talk about the harvest? This literally fell on top of the fruit card. The harvest is real. I'm telling y'all, season, reaping, intake, fruitful, fruition, bountiful, plenty, more. This speaks to Matthew 13:37 and 39. He answered, the one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the people of the kingdom. The weeds are the people, the devil. The weeds are the people of the evil one, and the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. I'm trying to tell somebody that this is going to be a fruitful season for you. Can we just decree and declare that real quick? This is my fruitful season. I decree and declare over my life and y'all's lives. Because I want everybody that surrounds me, everybody that tap in with me, everybody that will find this message at a later time. I want everybody to be fruitful. Why? Because I need to be surrounded with fruitful people. You realize that when you surrounded with people who produce good fruit, you then will produce, you can be a producer of good fruit. This is why you got to be around the right type of people with the right type of mentality, the right type of mindset. I want to be around people who are fruitful. Why? So I can step my fruitfulness up. Does that make sense, child? Listen, because I am a firm believer that if you surround yourself with the right people, it's like the oil, right? The oil that got one person rubbing off on the people around me, my overflow flowing to the people around me. I want the people around me to be successful, abundant, prosperous. Like, I want you to have that mindset so I can stay in that mindset. So this why you got to surround yourself with the right people, Nim, child. I'm telling you, because this is your fruitful season, and we will not get distracted. I just posted a little snippet of a video that said you reap what you sow. So are you sowing? Are you sowing good? Are you sowing good seed? You sowing good seed into the kingdom because the harvest is ripe. Okay, I'm telling y'all, like, the Lord is not playing. If you have been sowing, whether you've been sowing in tears, whether you've been sowing and paying your tithes, with however your time, your effort, your attention, however you've been sowing, that is how you will also reap. Now, y'all think it's a game if you want to. Well, come on, God. If you just want to show up in the message, just say that. Now, look what's at the bottom of the deck, y'all. All I did was shuffle. Fruitful, fruitful. Y'all, let me bring the fruit and the harvest back up. Because just, okay, Lord, fruitful. This is my fruitful season. This speaks to Matthew 19 and 28. Fruitful, abundant, rewarding, successful, productive, blossoming. Jesus said to them, truly I tell you, at the renewal of all things, when the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you who have followed me will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. I don't know how much more fruit we can get out here, but remember, y'all, we started off. We started off with the understanding that many of us are in a waiting season. You do not eat the fruit the same day you plant the tree, but that does not mean that you're not going to receive the harvest. Does that make sense? And some of you, this is simply a message of encouragement to keep on doing what the Lord has blessed you to do, because your fruit is closer than you think. It's almost like the Lord cannot get any. It's like when he started repeating himself like this, he's like, I don't know how else to say this, or he doesn't. It's like him not knowing what other way does he want us to say it, or do we want him to say it? Does that make sense? It's like, how else do we want the Lord to explain to us or let us know? And y'all, I kid you not, man, come on, Lord, I kid you not, it literally just split when I was picking up the deck, and here was Jesus up under these two cards, but those guys, they stayed on the board. It's like, how many other ways do we want the Lord to tell us, like, you will reap when you have sown? And so it's him. He continues to encourage us. For many of us, all that he does here is gives us signs and confirmations, y'all. This is the encourage. He comes in and he encourages us to let us know to keep moving forward in faith, keep moving down this path that he's told us. If you've been waiting on a person, you like, but wait a minute, Lord, when the Lord says it's time. If you're trying to, because if you're still impatient about somebody coming in, that is an opportunity. So this is speaking to Ruth and Boaz, right? For those of you who have been waiting on like a significant other. So understand this: if you still trying to ask, if you still going to the Lord and saying when, that means that you're not ready for it yet. Message. Does that make sense? If you still like, Lord, today, when they coming, when they up, where they at, when, Lord, I've been waiting, then that means that you're not ready for that person yet. That means that you're not ready for that blessing yet. It's one of those things where the Lord says, well, that's why you haven't received it yet, because you're not really ready to receive it. Because if you're trying to rush the Lord to bring in the blessing, then that means that you want it on your time and not his. You're not willing to wait on what he has to bring in for you. And that gives the enemy an opportunity to bring in a counterfeit as well, y'all. So you have to be careful, because if you just keep on asking the Lord when, the enemy say, oh, they just want anybody. So then he'll send in an anybody. He'll send in a El Fulio, a counterfeit, and you, instead of waiting on the kingdom. So just be patient and wait upon the Lord, right? So for whoever that part of the message is for, like the Lord, he's going to make sure that you receive exactly what you're praying for. But if you're still, that may be the reason he will delay it, is because you're not ready for it. You don't want, because that may be like impatience that you got to work on. Okay, let's see what else. So for whoever is questioning, like, Lord, am I doing the right thing? Am I building the right thing? This is simply an encouragement and an acknowledgement that you are already producing good fruit. You're already producing. And sometimes it's like, it may be, sometimes we be worried on like the financial, like, Lord, when is it going to start making me money? But for many of you, as you're stepping into your gifts, you do it for the love of the gift and the love of the Lord, and not the love of the money. So a lot of us, he has shifted us. Come on, manna. Y'all, the crazy thing about it is, this widget was on my phone this morning right before, and I started to write it down. But anyway, many of us, like, the Lord has transitioned us out of idolatry. He showed me something, um and this it be random, but we also have to be mindful, y'all, like, of just, it's, I don't want to go into a lot of detail about it, but there's like little simple things, y'all, that we think nothing of, but how the enemy has a hand in trying to make us idolize things or people. Does that make sense? Just be mindful, y'all. Come on, man. The provision is coming. I'm telling you, provision is the first word on here. This is, and for those of you who are concerned about, is the Lord going to provide? He always does, right? Jehovah Jireh, the Lord will provide. On the mountain of the Lord, it will be provided. This is Matthew 13, 49 and 50. This is the second card. I had to make sure. I thought I was tripping. We have the furnace card that came out, y'all. Many of you are coming out of the fire, right? Because now the Lord has molded you. And remember, fire speaks about the spirit as well. So this is like coming out of the fire. The Lord has molded you in the fire. This speaks to Matthew 13, 49 and 50. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. This is about burning, heat up, purification. For many of you, remember we just talked about the Jezebel spirit. So this is like understanding, like, you don't stay in the fire forever, but the Lord has to shape us and mold us. He has to get our heart and our spirituals in order before he can send us into this enlargement. Some of you have something, it's almost like global, right? With the world, the globe that's coming here, worldly. Some of you are going to be world travelers as well. As a part, you're going to go and be fruitful for the kingdom for real, for real. So get your passport, whoever needs this, that, like, you don't even realize that you're going to be building in other nations. Some of you, the Lord may be calling you to actually move abroad and go and share the message of God in other places. It could be like missionary work, right? And you may not even realize that that is part of what the Lord is going to have you doing, but he's actually going to have you traveling to different locations. So think it not strange. They, again, if you start thinking bigger and praying bigger, then you'll start receiving bigger. So for some of you, that's also going to be your portion. With this expansion and new possibilities. Some of you may end up moving abroad as well. So it's all about letting the Lord lead you where he's trying to take you. So if that's something that you want to do, then start. So of course, sow a seed for it. Sow a seed and name that seed that. That's something that the Lord is really having to get me in the habit of. If you sow a seed, or alms getting, like, giving your alms and paying your tithes, name your seed, right? Name your seed. The same thing we're doing with planting our kingdom seed. Like, name your seed and, like, Lord, this is what this is for. This is for this blessing. And he is, because I was like, well, Lord, do I really want to do that? He said, yeah, because you're sowing a seed intentionally into something that you're believing the Lord for. Does that make sense? What else? Many of you, so next we're clear team, there's 828 and also the Two of Cups. Many of you, you're going to be going into partnership business with your significant other. Come on, prayer. Right, I told you intentional. We have the journal. This talks about scripting, vision. Some of you, this is about the Lord helping you to have bigger vision. Some of you is getting back to imagining and dreaming because we oftentimes lose that as adults, y'all. We stop believing that the Lord can do great and amazing things and He can do more than what we ask, hope, wish, dream, think, or imagine. So for some of you, it's like the Lord is He's trying to encourage you to dream bigger because it's almost like you're limiting yourself by thinking that the Lord can't do a specific thing for you. This is the importance of also writing things down. Write down those ideas that don't make sense. Write down the things that the Lord is showing you because he's the one that gives us these thoughts. So for many of you, what's happening is he's showing you how to produce. Let me just say this. He's showing you how to produce major fruit for the kingdom, but it's about how are you going to take the wisdom that he's giving you. And I mentioned this yesterday, people be feeling some type of way about heart, like plants, like tithing or planting a seed or, what I'm saying, giving. But the thing about it is, it's like if you aren't willing to give, then how do you expect to get? We want all the time, but yet a lot of times one of the things that keeps us from receiving is our selfishness. So the Lord is trying to get you an understanding of this is the kind of harvest He wants you to reap. He doesn't want to just give you small blessings. So you can't, it's like you can't have a small imagination or even a small asking. You can't have small output and think you're going to receive like these big, amazing blessings. It doesn't work like that. So pay attention to when the Lord gives you an idea, even if it don't make sense right then. Write it down, put it in a journal, sow a seed about it. Okay, Lord, at some point this may come to pass, and you don't know when it's going to come to pass or not. Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. We have so many messages today that are talking about fruit, sowing, giving, like planting. We got Jesus in the soil down here. We got fruit over here. That's because many of you are praying for enlargement. You're praying for the Lord to enlarge your territory, but it's going to require you to do a little bit more. It's going to require you to sow some seeds in some different fields. It's going to require you to step outside of your comfort zone and go into areas and places and spaces that maybe you don't feel the most comfortable in. And this is even because some of you, this is also like showing there because of the fact that maybe you're worried about how people are going to receive you or if they're going to receive you in a certain place. You can't be worried about that. And as an example of this, he's using IG, right? Because IG is like a platform where everybody knows you. Okay. Most of the people on IG, especially in the beginning until you get a following, these are people who actually know you. And one of the things, just as an example, like one of the things that I have hesitated in doing is putting energy into IG. But understand this, just because people don't comment on your stuff, don't mean that they're not watching you. That's what, like, I talked about this a couple weeks ago where people be like, man, IG is weird because it's like people will watch you and never say anything. People will see, it's like people want to see what's happening in your life, but never really say anything. So for some of you, it's like it was like me being like, well, these are all people that know me and don't nobody ever like nothing over there or say anything over there. And the Lord says, so he says, so there are people who will sit behind a screen and watch you. And this is like for some, maybe you're on social media or something, and maybe you've been hesitant to go in a place where you feel like, man, I'm not even ain't nobody showing me no love over there. We're not doing this for the love of man. We doing this for the love of God. And so if, like, let's say there's if it's like, and that's just the example he's given where you're not even doing it. I don't care if don't nobody show up on the live over there. If the Lord tells me to go start giving a message over there, then that's what I'm going to do because I got to do what he wants me to do and not what because I'm worried about. Because guess what? Just because they ain't speaking don't mean they ain't hearing you or receiving what you're saying. They're not going to acknowledge your greatness all the time. And so for many of you, that's the other thing. Like, we're not looking for the applause from man. We cannot be focused on getting our flowers from men. Are we good? God, you good with me? Drop that in the chat. Like, God, we good. We good. Then that's got to be it, y'all. And so for some of you, that's a challenge. And understand this. When you're first stepping into something, you want it to be well received. But the Lord will get you to the point where you don't care nothing about that. You don't care nothing about that. You be like, God, we good. I might need God, we good. Oh, okay, well, Gucci. As long as I'm good with God, I'm good with what I'm doing, and we just keep it moving, y'all. So we're not looking for men, and this is part of the furnace as well, y'all. Like the refining that happens, where you stop focusing on people's opinions of you, people please. And remember, I just told y'all, the Lord, come on, good soil. This is y'all. I'm telling y'all right now, it's something about a seed planted. Man, I can't make this up. It's something about a seed planted. I'm gonna come back to this, but it's like this is also a part of the refining process, y'all. Where this is like, remember I told y'all about the check me and my spirituals, right? Where the Lord is just like, so you trying to please man instead of doing using the gifts, like I told you. He's like, okay, let's see how that work out for you. So you can't be hung up because it's gonna be people that don't like you. They ain't gonna say nothing. They not gonna acknowledge you. And if you only doing it for the applause, then guess what? Then that's being a hypocrite, and you're only going to receive that reward. And we want godly rewards. We want godly provision. So we don't want to be like the hypocrites, right? We want to make sure that because all they want is the applause. They want people to tell them good job. No, I want to hear good job, my good job from my daddy. I want the Lord to be like, you did great. And so if people don't like it, then you got to learn to be okay with that, right? Let's get to this soil, because it's so much about planting. It's so much about soil, about sowing. This speaks to Matthew 13 and 23. And I think, let me just make sure, y'all, because I can't even remember at this point, because it's in so many places. This is good soil, right? This is good soil. And I just used this on the title. That's crazy. I used this on the title for yesterday's message, and now I feel like I'm gonna have to go put the fruit on this one. But anyway, let me read this. But the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 160 or 30 times what was sown. Let me just say, let me do it this way. This may be 100 times, because we got three, 100 times, 60 times, 30 times. The more you put out, the more of a harvest you will receive, y'all. And this, again, this is not necessarily money. This is simply in your gifts, your talents, sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, whatever God is asking you to do. Okay. But we claiming hundredfold blessings over here. Said it, meant it. We claiming hundredfold return in this season, because many of you, what's also happening is you've been through your 30-fold season, you've been through your 60-fold season, and some of you and I'm gonna say us, some of us may just be starting to see the fruit, like you starting to see it. And this is also some, come on, spirit. The other thing is, y'all, the Lord is okay. Some of you have a fear of going back to an old season. Did I say that right? Some of you have a fear. It's almost like, let's say the Lord is blessing you, right, in some sort of way. It's almost like there's some sort of fear that the Lord's gonna take it back. The only reason he takes, and I'm not like it, yeah, I don't even want to say that he takes it back, but sometimes the Lord will show you what's to come, but it's not time for the harvest. But some of you there, he said there's some fear that you have, that maybe you were in a season of lack, and he wants you to go and talk to him about this and reflect on this. Maybe you were in a season of, maybe you were like in your robbing Peter to pay Paul season, and so the Lord had to teach you how to be a good steward with your resources, and you may be fearful that the Lord is going to send you back into that season. What I understand at this point with the Lord is, the only time we end up going back is because we go back to we go old patterns, right? We go back to old ways of doing things. If you go back to splurging, if you go back to, putting money into the wrong things again, if you take yourself backwards, then you're going to have to go back to the beginning of the lesson. Does that make sense? And man, I'm talking about so many times, Lord have mercy. if you have been, let's say the Lord has, like, let's say you did that and the Lord had to put you back in a season of dependence, right? Don't go backwards. But we do that, and it's not because I want it to be understood that the Lord knows sometimes that we gonna mess up. But many of you, you may have done it, but then you went after he had you. How do I explain this? After he had you in a state of dependence upon him and trusting him, this is being my come on, spirit. This is being mindful of opportunities, y'all. Because some of you, it's like the Lord is going to bless you with opportunities. And these are not necessarily like when the Lord gives, he gives. So be mindful if he has you in a state of dependence upon him and trusting in him to bring to you the things that he wants you to have. Be mindful because the tactic is going to be the enemy trying to make you put money into something that is, and it's not from the Lord. Does that make, I hope I said, I hope I made that make sense. Like the Lord has been giving to you, he's not going to then make you go out and try to find what it is that you want. I don't know. I hope I make sense with that. I may not have said it the right way, or I tried to explain it the way he's showing it to me, but it's like that's how you'll end up going back into the season where he's like, nope, you got to go back. Because if he has been giving you opportunities and been giving you the things that you need, he's not then going to just stop and be like, okay, yeah, now you on your own. He's not going to. So, but we end up doing that for whatever reason, fearful or just maybe, fearful that he's going to come on supplies. I'm telling you right now, telling you, if he's been supplying, he's going to keep supplying. Okay. If he's been supplying, he's going to keep supplying. This is a lot about provision here, y'all. There's a lot about just the Lord supplying everything. This speaks to Matthew 7:7 and 8. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks, the door will be open. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Not look, donation, righteousness, network, and then overflow up under that. So it's just like understanding these types of things, y'all, where good morning, dearest one, good morning, Imperial. It's like these are some of the lessons that you learn. For some of you, just depending on where you are literally a step away, like a step, because the way this is set up, y'all, you literally are a step away from enlargement, like from prospering. um Um, oh, you did. Thank you. No, thank you, dearest one. So you're literally like a step away from enlargement, a step away from something actually have the thing that you've been praying for, like really seeing the fruit, really seeing um the provision, really seeing like just you're so close to it. So just be mindful that this is the time where the enemy will try to come in and trick you out of your blessing, y'all. Like you got to be mindful of this. Good morning, CT. You got to be mindful of this because you're so close to the Lord opening something up for you. You have not been sowing in vain, and so this is like you graduating out of this furnace season, right? Coming out of the fire. For some of you, go back and look in your journal. If you are not a journaler, please get a journal. Okay, please get a journal. I'm sorry, Ronika. I don't know if I said good morning to you, dearest one. Please get a journal and start writing things down. And for those of you, if you're not sowing kingdom seeds with us, I share this simply because y'all, um, like I'm telling y'all, man, if you start it, and again, these are just practical ways to start um just doing things, right? Doing the things that and petitioning the Lord. And I think that we overcomplicate the way that, we can come to the Lord. But I pray that y'all are planting these kingdom seeds with us, y'all. And all I can say is that I know for a fact that there was one seed that I have sown, and I don't know where it is in my Bible right now. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that there's a seed that I saw that I have sown into the word and prayed over it and just asked the Lord, like, Lord, if it's your will, have your way. And he's continuing to do that for me. And so and it's also just believing and having faith in what you're sowing into, y'all. Whether it's yourself, your business, your ideas, your creativity. um Believe that God has something better for you, y'all. Cherie said God been showing the negative energies that have no powers here, and don't they no power. No, we're not in that season anymore, y'all, where we're allowing any of the negativity to even penetrate. The Lord is removing a lot of things, y'all. He's number one, making us aware, but he's number two, having us to pray for those people who continue to think that those fiery darts, if you will, like one of the things, and I encourage you to pray for is like, Lord, don't even let them penetrate. There's some of you, it's like you don't even realize, and I've been talking about this, you leveling up in the spirit, you're leveling up in spiritual things. And so as a result of that, and again, you, the reason the Lord had to send you through the fire in the first place is so that you could be strong enough to deal with the darts that's going to come at the next level. Does that make sense? You're not going to have less darts coming at you, you're going to have more. You're going to have, it's like if you think about demonic activity, right? You, when you was down at, when you was at your lowest point and the low and the most vulnerable, that was, you was dealing with little lower level demons. But now when you level up, don't you, we just like we over here on the light side of the street, they got them on the dark side of the street too. So you're not on the same type of time. Your energy's free, your frequency is different, right? So now that you've leveled up, understand that the tactics that are coming up against you are going to level up as well. You may be receiving more things in your dreams, in your sleep. You may be receiving, like, you can pick up on people that are coming around you. You can pick up on things, like on pick up on things online. Like, you just have to understand, when you level up in the spirituals, y'all, that you level up, your level up is going to cause the bigger well, I don't want to tell anyway. The bigger, what do we want to call them? We gonna give them a good name too. What we gonna call them, child? They gonna get mad. But what can they do? Because I told y'all, we talked about this weekend. One thing we not gonna do, and we don't do at Spirit U, is give the enemy power over us. And if you didn't see yesterday's message, I kind of went into detail about this, but it bears repeating, so I'm gonna say it. We are taking things, and I say this all the time because we don't understand sometimes how we give the enemy power. You either believe in God or you don't, right? Anybody in here believe in God? If so, just drop some crowns in the chat. Anybody believe in God? Like, this is where we're at, where especially here on Spirit U, y'all. This is where we're at. And this is because we're being led, we're walking in the spirit, right? In the spirit of God. You either believe in God or you believe that the enemy has control in your life. And so, we talk about, like we just talked about, like monitoring spirits, right? Here's the thing. And this, you go read the book of Job for this. If you don't believe me, take it back to the Lord. Y'all, how can a monitoring spirit do anything that God has not commissioned them to do? How can any demon or devil in hell do anything that God has not told them that they can do? You either understand that there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that is under the control of God, that is under Jesus's watchful eye. There's nothing that comes up against you that God does not allow. Don't believe me? Go read the Bible. Go read the book of Job, and he'll show you in the book of Job. There is absolutely nothing that the Lord does not allow. So one of the things, and the Lord, he talks to me a lot about this, because we oftentimes don't realize how we give the enemy power, because we start saying that, don't say this, because the monitoring spirits are gonna, how can you stop a spirit from monitoring you? I asked this over the weekend, and if anybody has an answer, I am not being facetious when I ask this. How do you stop a spirit from monitoring you? How do you stop it? You cannot stop something that you cannot see. And so if you cannot stop it, why would you then give a monitoring spirit the power to say, because this is his here, because like you'll see, like, oh, the enemy is impeding your progress. No, God is allowing the enemy to test me in some way, to tempt me in some way. If God has allowed a temptation to happen, then I am of the mindset that if it happened, it's because God allows, not because the enemy has any power. Does that make sense? And so the Lord has been really heavy on this, y'all, because it's like us understanding. I Googled this yesterday, and you'll see this on if you watch Spirit U yesterday. I said, Lord, did Jesus ever talk about monitoring spirits? He did not. They were like, well, no, but he alluded to, uh-uh. because you either operating in the spirit of God or you're not. And so if we don't, it's like us, the simple things that the Lord is making us understand, how we give the enemy power so he thinks that he has more control than what he has. Does he like this message? Absolutely not. But we don't realize in the simple things, y'all, the simple things. Oh, well, I don't want to say this out loud. Well, and let me just tell y'all how the Lord checked me about this. If you in the secret place, I don't care if you in your closet, your car, your shower. How can you? So you gonna not pray in the secret place and talk to God because you worried about a monitoring spirit intercepting your prayers? How you gonna stop it? You cannot stop them from hearing you. So that should not make you pray less. It should make you pray no, pray more. Does that make sense? Like there are things that we cannot stop, but so the Lord is like, we don't even realize how we hurt ourselves with us not so, oh well, I don't want to say that because the enemy be listening. Good, listen. Like y'all, I'm kidding. And again, this is just conversations with God. The Lord is like, but do you understand that how that separates us from God? Because we start giving power to the enemy that he does not have, which is his goal, because he wants us to think that he has more control than God. So who's wrong? Us or the enemy, right? So this is why the Lord is like, stop worrying about who watching you. Stop worrying about a monitoring spirit. Stop giving the enemy, like talking about, oh, you giving the enemy ammunition. How? Because I'm praying to God. Make it make sense. And if you are a believer in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, then you already know that the victory has already been won, right? Did I read it wrong? In understanding that the victory has already been given to our Lord and Savior. Didn't he overcome? And again, this is me asking. I'm not being facetious, y'all. Jesus already has the victory. Yes. So why do we keep acting like the enemy's still in control? We keep giving him the power. He keep like, okay, okay. They still think I got rulership. Don't. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody, because the Lord be on my neck about that, y'all. Because we hear so many folks talking about the enemy stopping you and the enemy hindering your progress. Wait a minute. The enemy can't do nothing that the Lord didn't say he could do. Nothing. This ain't touche. This is the Lord in the book of Job says, have you considered my servant Job? And what the enemy say? Well, he won't, he ain't gonna worship you and do all, he gonna turn on you as soon as you take everything from him. There's nothing that the Lord does not allow. Nothing. And so he allows us to be tested to it until he says, okay, that's enough. Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm putting my hedge of protection up. Right? I'm telling y'all, he comes and to kill and to kill and steal and destroy. So I hope that helps somebody. I'm telling y'all, like the Lord, and this is, and I believe y'all. Look, Queen said the enemy can't do nothing, nothing, y'all. And I want somebody, I hope somebody will receive that. And again, y'all, this is why I don't do a whole lot talking about no monitoring spirits, because I just don't care. Because if the Lord wanted me to be concerned about a monitoring spirit, he would say that. And he's not this. There are things, and this might rub some people the wrong way, but I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. This is why I understand why the Lord will take some of us through a completely different way. That's not to say that there are not negative energies that will try to come up against you. But even if they come up against you, y'all, the Lord still has, can we just drop that in the chat? The Lord has his eyes on me. So it's not that we're not aware of spiritual things, and it's not that we're not aware of these things, y'all, but it's about, are you going to allow those things to be more powerful in your life than the all-powerful God? I can't do it. I can't do it. Because the Lord has not only his eyes, but his hands on me. He sees what we got going on, man. And I'm just not that person that's going to try to sit here and, people want to talk about the enemy, the enemy. Stop giving him power. He got his eyes and his hands on me, baby. He know everything I got going on. And through everything he has done, And one thing we know, it's just like Jesus being tempted in the wilderness, right? If you go out of your way to tempt the Lord to see if he gonna protect you, and I say if you go put yourself in trouble, then guess what? You forfeit his protection. You can go read this. I want to say what Matthew 3, 4, somewhere in there. You forfeited if you go out of your way just to see, okay, let me test God and see if he got me. No. And if you in the way of your duty and you doing what the Lord has asked you to do, you got to know he got you covered. Like, you don't, it's not that things won't happen, but you got to know that you got protection. That's it. Just it. I'm telling y'all, man, like it's just little simple things where I'll be like, well, wait a minute, Lord. Do we believe in you more than the enemy? Or he was just like, that's part of the problem. And this is one of the ways that we be part of the problem. Does that make sense? And I'm just not on that. And first thing people be like, oh, don't say this, don't say that. Well, you know what? That's the problem. The enemy wants us to stay silent because there are people who don't even know, who don't understand this. And especially when you first get awakened and you first start on a, Lord, I'm on a tangent, Lord. When you first start waking up, and you trying to figure out what's going on, the first thing you start hearing about is monitoring spirits. And now all of a sudden you paranoid. And now all of a sudden you focused on the darkness and you don't understand the reason, if you start ignoring the enemy will flee from you. This is not, Touche says, this is what happened in the wilderness. Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan. And he had to flee until the next opportunity. And the next opportunity that we really just hear is when he was talking to Peter and Peter tried to come up against his purpose. And he was just like, get thee behind me, Satan. If you ignore him, then he will flee. He will go find somebody else to fool with. But I'm, man, look, I'm my bad, Lord, because I'm so passionate about it, because it's I feel like it's especially if you either believe God or you don't, man. Like, this is how we start taking back power from for the Lord. Man, you're not finna tell me, come on, authority. He ain't up here giving us power to trample on the heads of scorpions and snakes for nothing. Anyway, I'm passionate about this, y'all, because I'm like, well, how you believe in God if you letting the enemy say that he got this kind of control over your life? Are you, it's like, are you in or are you out? Who has the authority, God or the enemy? Not in my life. Uh-uh. And it's too many instances for so many of us where we see that God is truly in control. And so I'm just not, I'm that person that I refuse. I refuse to say the enemy can do this, that, or the third. I'm like, yeah, he'd be like, okay. I'll be like, man, the Lord got the enemy on my neck. But then I can, like, man, anyway, my bad, y'all. I'm back. But it bothers me because it's me understanding why so many of us stay in the struggle, why so many of us have trouble thinking that God is truly for us and not against us, right? um because the enemy is like, he tries to corrupt that, he tries to corrupt the precepts and the understanding. It's like a manipulation, y'all. And the Lord has made me, and it took me a minute to get to understanding, like, oh, well, if I keep saying that the enemy's in control and he coming up against me, it's like, well, wait a minute, hold on, God, I thought you were in control. And it's a simple mindset shift. And if you start looking at it like there's nothing, and then the Lord says it, he tells us he will make you go through discipline. He will chastise you, but he does it because he loves us. He will make us walk. You gonna get that whooping. Okay, you're gonna have to get this whooping now. You're gonna have to get it. But it's because of decisions that we have made. He ain't just punishing us. Like, you gonna have to take this whooping, but it's because of what you did. Now you got to walk out these consequences. I got to let the enemy come up against you for a minute. I'm gonna test and make sure that you're gonna ride with me and you're gonna stay faithful. But just know, even when you're going through them trials and tribulations, y'all, the Lord still come in and show mercy. He showed mercy to Cain after he slew Abel. So you think that he won't, like, in your own situation, like, even if we have to go through discipline and chastisement, he still shows us mercy in those situations, y'all. So this is one of the ways, and this is why, but this is understanding, like, when the spirit really be talking to you, the Lord will show you things. He will show you, like me. This is something he showed me. He was like, look how you keep giving my power over to the enemy. What, Lord? Let me show you. And from that day until right now, man, enemy can't do nothing. My God don't nothing, nothing. Okay, Lord, so you allowing something to come up against me. Okay, Lord, so we flip that. And now we're like, okay, Lord, what do I need to learn from this? But God, come on, say it, Imperial. Like, okay, Lord, it's something. I was like, there's a reason that this is happening. What do I need to learn from it? What is it trying to teach me, Lord? What are you trying to make me understand? Lord, search my heart. Show me what I need to see. Show me what it is, Lord, because I don't want to be in this season. I don't want. And so, as long now He keep you in it as long as He wants to. But ask the Lord, like, Lord, okay, what is it? Like, wait a minute. And a lot of times we getting karma, y'all. We getting karma from the decisions that we've been made. You don't always get immediate karma, but one thing that I have found is that the closer you come to God, you don't make as many unnecessary decisions anymore. You don't end up doing as many things as you did before that were not in alignment with God's will and purpose. So when you do something, you get almost an immediate conviction in your spirituals. I mean, like it ain't even no line, no waiting. The Lord be like, wait, what? And then you immediately repent. Whereas before you may have did something and then come back and repent sometime later. No, no. The Lord tell you the closer you get to God, the more you be like, the Lord immediately like, wait, what? You be like, wait, hold on, Lord. My bad. Good morning, Jared. Good morning. Like that's the kind of relationship we need to have where the Lord ain't waiting to convict us. Our spirituals ain't waiting to convict us 17 months down the road. You know you did something wrong right then because you know it right then. You and that's Lord, you know you weren't supposed to do that. You know you weren't supposed to do that. Now you know it. And you right then you got to be, you know what, Lord, you right. I forgive me, Lord. You repent right there on the spot. Man, listen. These are kind of conversations I have with the Lord. It ain't no now I'm still walking out consequences, but I don't not the same time I was. Try please. Because who wants to keep going through the same cycles and seasons that we trying to graduate from? Drop it in the chat like it's graduation time. Is Memphis. It is graduation time, baby. We not finna keep playing these games with the enemy. We not finna keep playing these games with the Lord. We is graduating these lessons, y'all. Somebody need to graduate. Jared said that immediate. I know you didn't. It is graduation time, and we graduating this year. Come on, Spirit. Telling y'all, come on, Spirit. It's graduation time, y'all. We're not gonna keep going through that foolishness. Because who has time for that? Child, I'm tired. Been out here making bad decisions my whole life. We've been out here making bad decisions my whole life. I can't do it. Way. It really is. Y'all, like all my life, I've been making bad decisions. What? No. No, I'm not doing that. Anyway. I know, because I'm just saying, child, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, woo, my God, I done made so many of them. But thank the Lord for forgiveness, right? Thank the Lord for forgiveness. Child, listen. You better say it. Look, Mia says I'm trying good. I want to get in good trouble. Like I want good trouble, Lord. Give me good trouble. Would it be good trouble, y'all? Like good trouble. Like, I want big, like let's just say big money problems. We want big money problems. We want to make sure we paying all our bills on time. We want to be responsible, you know. We want to be able to take trips and stuff. We want good trouble, big money problems. Show the color purple. It did show all my life. I've been making bad decisions. Like, child, please. I want to visit these places on my vision board. Anyway, I'm just saying, y'all. Like, I won't be in good trouble with the Lord. I don't know what trouble good, but Lord, if it come from you, I want good trouble. I don't want what I didn't have before, child. I'm tired. Okay, I'm tired. Anyway, Lord, look, travel. I want to go to the places. I'm trying to tell you, somebody go get your passport. If I see this credentials card, I'ma know something. Let me just make sure. Look, there go to increase. So I'm told y'all now, somebody been to travel. We want to go on vacation, sightseeing, voyages, expeditiously, passage, tourist. Anyway, I'm just saying. Look, putting a lot of new countries on in my good soil. You better say it. Child, let me go plant some. Let me go sow a seed. Where I want to go first, Lord. I don't even know. I want to go somewhere. I'll travel somewhere. Let me go to some other country and see how they live. I want to go over there to, yeah, to Asia somewhere. They got all this technological stuff we ain't got yet. Anyway, that's all I got, y'all. Look, I want to travel the world. Travel the world. Anyway, that's all I got for real, y'all. So the Lord know what He knows. So just saying that, Daddy, you have meant it in your spiritual, Daddy. True story. Give God the glory. Uh, Thus says the Lord. He finna take us somewhere now. We going. Where we going, y'all? Let's imaginals. Let's put some travel into our imaginationals. Where I want to go first, Lord? I want to go to the island of Dominica. That's where I want to go first. I want to go to Dominica. Jared says I put Jamaica first and then Japan. Come on, planning and traveling. We gonna go for real, y'all. Like the Lord is really trying to take us places, and so, and I believe Him for that. And I don't care what, cause me, look, Mount Kilimanjaro. Wait a minute, the mountain. Well, child, tell me how it was when you come back. Tell me how it was when you come back, because I'm not gonna do. I have enough trouble climbing the little 3 mile mountain I be going up over yonder. I need to go back up that mountain, don't it? Do I'm gonna go, but tell me how it was. But I'm not gonna be joining you for that one. Cherie says Jamaica, St. Lucia, Ghana, and Ibiza. I hope I said that right. I want to go to Africa for sure. I want to go to Africa as well. Jamaica. I ain't been to Jamaica. I want to go over there as well. Oh, we're not going to Australia. They I don't think Australia, I think somebody lied and said Australia was on this earth. It's not. And the reason I know this is because they animals ain't from here. They animals, the animals in Australia, they not from Earth. They just not. And can't nobody make me think that they are. They not from Earth. Lord, where you got them from? This how you know it's other dimensions and stuff. If y'all ain't never seen, if you ain't never seen Australia, Neil, they animals ain't from Earth. That's how you know it's some kind of portal or something that you pass through, and it's like on another planet in another dimension because they animals ain't from here. They don't. They animal the animals. They they don't make sense. I ain't never seen. That's why they over there. That's why it's an island. Ain't Australia an island? Because that's how you know it ain't on Earth. You go you go through a portal, Lord. You think it's a joke if you want to go on over there and go find out. Them little red crabs, the whole continent be covered with these little red crabs, and it be gazillions of. You know what? I'm not even finna play. Love y'all, Australia. Y'all let us know how I feel to be in another dimension, because what we not gonna do is try to go and find y'all. That ain't never got the core. That's why the coral reef. See, they be trying to tempt you. See how the enemy, the enemy, he be trying to tempt you, because what? I love the water, and the coral reefs is over there in Australia, but they know we not going over there. Child, y'all got frogs that look like this big. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll watch it on BBC. I'll watch it. I just have to watch it on National Geographic, because I'm not going. Anyway, I'm just saying they come through the ocean floor like Godzilla. They there. It's a okay. Don't go find out. Don't go. I mean, you can if you want to. That's your business and everything. But you go find out if you want to. I'm not going. The Grand Canyon is a portal. I believe it. I ain't never been, but y'all think these, what they call them, ley lines? It's some powerful places. You either understand stuff or you don't, child. Um, but I ain't going there either. I don't think I want to go and look down in a big old canyon, because why I want to do that? Can't you fall? Why we want to do dangerous stuff? I don't want to do dangerous stuff. I just want to go sit by the ocean with the blue water and the see the dolphins, and that's it. I don't want to do nothing crazy. Because they be doing crazy stuff. Well, I would jump out of an airplane. That's not too crazy. I want to do the hand glider suit. You know, I seen the little fella on the TV the other day, and he was in this suit, and he had fell from space. Like, y'all, for real. He was in space and he fell. It must have, I almost called it, that man must have fell for 17 minutes, because that's how long that video was. And that's how long it take us to get from space to the ground. Anyway, he was having fun, and I was like, I want to go because that looked fun. Well, that wouldn't be. I don't feel like that's one of them. Why you gonna tempt the Lord? You was right, Lord. We ain't gonna do it. But it looked fun. But they made it. I don't know. Anyway, I think there's a convoy where you walk through the bottom of the canyon. I don't want to. Why I want to be down there? I don't want to be down there. You mean all I can see? I'm not claustrophobic. Well, maybe a little bit. I'm not claustrophobic. I don't want to go down there. So you mean all I can see? I was watching these people. I be watching crazy stuff, y'all. Don't be judging me. These people them was in a cave. Let me just say some stuff real quick. It's some stuff, y'all, that I just don't feel that the Lord intended for us to do. Why do you feel like you need to go and explore inside the earth? Like what? I be watching folks do stuff, right? Like what make people want to just go climb straight up a rock just like to get to the top? Like what make these people them want to climb to the top, Kilimanjaro, if you will? Like what make people want these little people them went to this place, and I don't know what the elevation of this place was, y'all. They really do. These little people them went up to this place. Now, first of all, let's just talk about the environment. I don't even remember exactly where this place was, but this is a true story.com. First of all, the whole little city was surrounded by trash, garbage. They talking about the city in the clouds. So it's apparently some little mining city. And the mining city, it's like you can't even breathe up there. Like the dude was having to hold the mask on his face, y'all, and his O2 set, which you if y'all know, you put the little thing sensor on your finger, O2 set was like 72%. First of all, my guy, you can't even breathe, and you trying to show us what? Because what we not gonna do is go there. Like what? Why do y'all show us this kind of stuff, man? Like we ain't nobody finna be like, you know what? I'm gonna go to that place above the clouds where I can't even much breathe. Like, ain't nobody finna go and travel to this place. Like, anyway, y'all, I be and me. I was like, what possesses y'all? Like, I don't understand why you gonna hurt yourself in the process of trying to show us somewhere we ain't never gonna go anyway. Like, you know, Jared said, like the ocean. Why y'all want to go? Can't y'all? Now y'all gonna mess with that's one of them. You gonna mess around and find out. You gonna go down there in the ocean and go to the bottom and you surrounded by nothing but water. First of all, you can't see, you can't breathe, you can't live, ain't nothing, ain't hardly nothing down there, but you want to go there. Why? What do you think you gonna find down there? What why? Like it just be these kind of questions. I'd be like, Lord, what's ailing them? What is ailing them, Lord? What's ailing them? Y'all. I can't understand people there. I can't, y'all. I just be like, so what make y'all want to just go and do stuff? What like why Lord, why you give them the desire to do this kind of stuff? Said to say, I know that's right. I'm gonna observe the water and be respectful on it from a boat. And I'm talking about a very big boat. Now, I'd probably go swim in the ocean with the dolphin nims, right? But I don't want to know what is at the deepest depths. I'm gonna leave the deep for the Lord. I'm gonna leave it down there because I'm sure it's some kind of Leviathan or something down there, and I don't want the experience. Lord, tell me about it. Tell me about it when we get there. I just me. It's some stuff that the Lord says supposed to remain hidden. Like I don't want to know everything that the Lord has created. I feel like some stuff is supposed to be left for the imaginationals, but you go do what you do. Do what you do. But I just be looking at folks and I be like, my bad, Lord, but they's foolish. Them some fool. I was finna cuss word. Daddy, can I have one cuss word? I because you can't even say this little phrase. If those of y'all, if you got religiosity in your spirituals, don't get your feelings hurt. Cause what's wrong with these fool ass fools? Cause I said it and it asses in the Bible. I be like, Daddy, Daddy, Lord. I said what I said. Then I be like, my bad, Dad. I ain't mean to call them out their name and stuff. But what's wrong with what's ailing them, Lord? What's ailing them? Well, I'm bad. My bad, little sensitive people. Them the Lord, but I said what I said. Men did. The folks crazy. Love y'all, but y'all got to work on. Y'all got to work on it anyway. There's stuff down there, but the Lord gave me the sense not to want to know. I mean, call to me, and I will show you great and unsearchable things that you do not know. This is a true story, but I don't want to know everything. It's some stuff I'm just gonna leave to the Lord. I'm gonna leave it. So anyway, look, I can't wait. I'm gonna go play with the dolphins. That's my spirit animal. I'm gonna go play with them. You watch. Y'all better play. I want y'all to go sow a camp like Lord, me, because who ain't already got a seed sown for their passport? Because no, I do not have my passport. But you best to believe that I know that the Lord gonna bless me. I'm gonna be like Sandy over there playing in Punta Cana with the Dolphins. Now I went to way down deep Mexico, but we didn't get to do that. We just got to see with the sea, with like the sea turtles or what have you. But it was fun. We had fun. So look, mind your business. Anyway, that's all I got, y'all. My bad. We done went on a whole excursion, didn't it? Did. But we saying enough to stay. We gonna stay on the earthis. We gonna stay on the earthis. We not going into places that the Lord told us that's off limits. We gonna let him draw the line and the boundaries. That's all I got. Lord, I hope this helps somebody. Y'all, thank y'all so much for the likes, the shares, the comments, the subscribes, the love, the energy. Thank y'all so much for tapping in with me today. Please share the message if you feel inclined to do so. Hydrate your soul and things. Drink your water. Say your gratitude. Have a fantastic and an amazing Monday in purpose, on purpose. I want y'all to go be great and amazing and do great and amazing things. Okay, it's a great Monday. It's a great Monday. We're going to be motivated all week long. And I'll be back in the morning, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will be finishing up Genesis 5. Genesis 5. And then after that, we'll be jumping into Genesis 6. Finishing that out this week. So by Monday, we'll be in Genesis 7. And of course, on Sundays, if you have not already, make sure you give me a follow. Follow, subscribe, share the live. Thank y'all so much. Go have a great and amazing day in your purpose. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. All that good stuff. I love y'all in real life. I will see y'all in the morning. Love y'all. Bye, y'all. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Bye, y'all. Thank y'all. I see y'all in the morning. Bye.